It's time. I like Reggie's response, and that's supposed to matter. Okay, so if audio is working fine, let me know, guys, if the you can't hear the voices, because we're gonna go right into the next one, which is the final side quest, which deals with Ferdinand and our little nuke.
Ferdinand von Aegir.
Yeah, that guy with the name.
That's what I got.
The Retribution. Oh, it's this guy. Okay, I remember this.
Stop running.
I hear bits of it, yeah.
Okay.
Good enough for me. That is Dad?
You're the Prime Minister, aren't you? Not anymore. He lost his
Now,
power.
when you look at this guy when he goes down,
Now he's just a man.
they're just using the foraging for stuff on the floor animation.
Shut up.
And it looks so bad because they did a poor job of trying to hide that.
Folks like us. Since you villains took over the Rim territory, our lives have been nothing but pain and misery. Heavy taxes, forced labor, it's brutal. Now we're gonna make you pay.
That right there. That it's just him them reusing that one animation that does not work in the context here.
What's in the pantry here?
That's so bad.
It's nice and all, but it's not much good when you don't have sweets to go with it.
Sweet treats are less common, yes. But perhaps that makes sense. War is not sugar-coated.
If you've got time to be cheeky, you've got time to find me some sweets.
But Lysithea, your smile is so sweet.
Lord Ferdinand, excuse the interruption. Our scouts happened upon the information you were looking for. I thought it would be best to let you know as soon as possible.
They know where my father is?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, now.
After losing his position as Prime Minister, your father was held in Enbar for a very long time. He escaped. For a while, no one knew where he was. The other day, however, he was sighted alone in the Rim territory. Seemed he was heading for an allied region.
Rim.
Alone, you say? Was he safe?
I'm afraid not. There is a major insurrection happening in the Rim territory. It's been 5 years since Duke Aegir lost his control of the area. The military seems to have finally lost control, and the people's violence is unleashed.
I do not understand. Why are they rioting?
It's obvious, isn't it? Ferdinand, do you really know nothing about Rim? Your own father was ruling it. You don't know what became of the area once he fell from power?
If it was truly a House Aegir territory, I would have been trained in governing the area. But my father insisted that I have nothing to do with Rim. But now is not the time to talk about this. We have to help him before he gets caught up in the violence.
You're right. Now isn't the time for chit-chat. Let's get over there quickly. Professor, would you be coming?
Oh no. We still haven't got our McDonald's.
Yeah, we keep passing by it, but we just keep forgetting to go in.
Yeah. Szechuan sauce, Lysithea. The Szechuan sauce. You don't know if it's gonna last a week longer or not.
As soon as possible. I know a bit about the situation. I'll fill you in later.
Thanks. You could tell me on the way to McDonald's. But but yeah, the dealio is a symbol. We save the fat guy, and then we get probably some type of awesome staff or something along those lines. That's usually how these.
This time we did go to McDonald's, but realized if you nuked it because the ice cream machine was broken.
Oh yeah, it's like that same power from that one episode of Teen Titans. If you remember that one character that would always blow himself up, he would obviously survive, but before he would explode, he would try to put himself in like a reactor and put them.
Oh, the Russian.
Yeah, that one.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I was like a dude who always explodes. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like, okay, one of the honorary titans from like season 4, 5, or whatever,
Mhm.
where they have like the massive crossover building, uh, you know, team. And that last season felt kind of rushed with how many characters they tried to throw in there. It
It's
was cool, but
it's almost like they knew their time was up.
almost like they didn't know their time was up and everything on them to do
The
something
only time they
else.
thought they weren't having their time up.
This
Yeah,
is where my father was sighted?
they had season 6 and 7 or whatever planned out already. Like that's why the last episode was, you know, a major cliffhanger, right?
You know, they know they could easily go and finish up that plot point, but they just don't care.
Citing the violence.
They know there's an audience
Oh,
for
they
it.
care. They just know that the Cartoon Network won't let them.
Really?
They own the rights to that version of the Teen Titans, so they're going to sue them if they try.
Yep.
Save the commoners before they attack by the angry mob. You get a reward based on people you rescue. Okay. Okay. Okay.
The north side of the town is in chaos. I do not think
So root the enemy, but root the enemy fast.
It's better to simply hold the line against the enemies in the north and focus our efforts on saving the citizens of the east and south.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
What's my strategy?
Any oh, by the way, so here's a nice tasty tangent. Was it the Sonic 2 trailer came out today? I hope you enjoyed that trailer that they dropped.
Wait, there's another trailer?
Yeah, it's literally 10 seconds and it's super sped up footage, and then at the end it said, "Did you catch that? The slowed down trailer tomorrow."
Oh. Okay.
They've dropped like 20 of those trailers. Some of them are just variations.
If you were to see one of the like, if you were to pause each frame, one of them has the old Sonic design.
I'm your girl.
Which I give,
Probably got a
yeah,
vortex thing.
Prepared.
I just like that because it's like the fact that they acknowledge is like, yeah, we're making fun of ourselves. But
Yeah.
I'm looking for. Oh, by the way, can we talk about spoilers here? I already know somebody made a big old spoiler for the Sonic 2 movie, and I do want to talk about it if anyone doesn't care about seeing the
As long
movie.
as it isn't the ending.
Huh?
As long as it isn't the ending.
Okay, guess I can't talk about it then.
Good. Then stop talking about it.
Whoopsie.
I'm serious.
Oh, sweet. I was able to crit that. Yay!
Yeah.
Crit.
Speaking of trailers, though, the Obi-Wan show finally got a trailer.
Oh, how is that? How is that shaping out to be?
So it looks like it might be interesting. Seems like it's going to be Obi-Wan is like being hunted down by the Inquisitors that were introduced in Star Wars Rebels and Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, like, one of the first things I'm hearing after the trailer dropped is complaints about the way the Grand Inquisitor looked because his head is really round when it was supposed to be really long instead.
Who cares? I'm asking that, but who actually cares?
So that's one of those things like, oh, and already there's a complaint. But, yeah.
Just probably decided to alter it so it makes better flow. Or is easier to animate.
But, yeah, no, so, the trailer looks like it's going to be mostly about the Empire and the Inquisitors trying to hunt down the remaining Jedi. Obviously, it means it's going to involve Obi-Wan because he's the title character of the show.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
It depends.
Because we know he can't die. We know he can't die.
Mandalorian was really cool. Huh?
We know he can't die, so there's like any type of... it's like the Black Widow movie.
It's
you know...
Well, it's not about if he's going to die or it's about good... It's mainly about interesting ideas and that are paced out well, right? That's the main thing that these shows need to do. Mandalorian does it pretty well.
Really,
Book of
the
Boba
first
Fett
3D
did it
cartoon
very
was
poorly.
spectacular, and you knew none of them were going to die.
Huh?
I mean, the first 3D cartoon was really good, and you knew almost none of them were going to die.
Yeah. Star Wars: The Clone Wars is by far one of the best Star Wars anything that's come out in the last 2 decades.
Hmm.
It is up there.
Wait, that's it?
And the one before it wasn't bad either.
Yeah, the original miniseries Clone Wars was really great. It was just a series of events in the war, which was fine. It was just there to kind of bridge the gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, which it did. The final episode of that led directly into the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
I see.
But yeah, and then they kind of fucked up with the timeline a little bit more by deciding to focus more on more in betweens with the newer show from 2008. And one of the best characters in the whole series came out of that. And it didn't start that way either. So it's not about, oh, well, he's going to live up to the, because he's in, New Hope. And then that's when he dies, but even then he's not dead because he's a Force ghost. Like, and that's not what matters. What matters is the quality of writing.
Okay.
So, trailer looks interesting. Still remains to be seen if it's going to flop or not, because, like I mentioned, Mandalorian was great. Book of Boba Fett was not. I just watched that last week.
Yeah.
It was not interesting. The best parts of it were the episodes that weren't even about Boba Fett.
I wonder if they're actually going to make amends with Jar Jar Binks and make his ending a little less cruel.
Wait, what?
Because if it's not, you've heard about, how Jar Jar Binks vouched for the senator.
Vouched for the chancellor.
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah, he was manipulated into giving him power. Yeah.
And afterwards, his people were kind of exiled and stuff. So it was in big trouble.
Because the Empire is extremely racist. Yeah.
So I was just kind of hoping they'd have a little less cruel of an ending for him in that series.
Too weak for this world. Thank you. Looks like I won't.
It just seemed kind of sadistic at that point.
Are you what the cool kids like to call a Jar Jar apologist?
I like the idea that Jar Jar Binks was secretly a Sith Lord.
Okay, we're gonna have to do this.
Or at least forced to death.
This is our chance.
I don't really care. I'm indifferent on Jar Jar. He's honestly not as annoying as people make him out to be. That the movie he debuted in was not what people wanted from Star Wars.
I just like the idea that he's so annoying that even his entire race hates him.
Yeah.
Funny how that works.
And even in the Clone Wars cartoon from the CGI one, like Jar Jar wasn't too bad in that. In some of the episodes,
They even gave him a decent episode. Where
yeah,
he was acting like a Jedi.
yeah, because of a misunderstanding. So, what was it? Mace Windu had to make it look like Jar Jar was a wise Jedi helping out the area.
And then he just summoned an animal which was already a giant animal, was always already a Jedi power, so
Another victory.
he
Yeah.
did do his part.
Jar Jar, I think, actually worked best with Mace Windu in that show because that show makes it very clear Mace Windu is an asshole.
A
Like,
nice
always.
aspect. Oh, jeez.
It's if you watch Mace Windu in any of his scenes where he's not just fighting something, he is such a dick to everybody.
Wait, Mace Windu, he's
Samuel Jackson.
yeah, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Right, but it's like people always be like, this is not a good Jedi you want to root for. Like admit it. The only reason you like this character is because he's played by Samuel Jackson and his lightsaber is purple.
And nothing else.
Yeah, I was
It
like,
was nicer than he was in the
basically.
movie.
Huh?
It was nicer than he was in the movie, where he's pretty much the key hypocrite of all hypocrites.
No, he's not really nice at all. Hell, just look at how he responds to Boba Fett's assassination attempts. Like,
I've only really watched the 6 movies, the original trilogy from like back the first 3 movies that are later labeled the last 3 movies, and then the first 3 movies when they first came out in theaters. But that's pretty much it. That's the extent of my knowledge when it comes to knowing the lore of things.
yeah, so in the Clone Wars cartoon show, season 2, they decided to bring Boba Fett in as like one of their big, story arcs for the season. It was focusing on bounty hunters, right?
Yeah.
And it was a young Boba Fett because, as mentioned in Attack of the Clones, he's unaltered. So he doesn't age rapidly like the other clones.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the arcs that he had was he sneaks into a cadet training group that's on a cruiser with Mace Windu,
Yeah.
and he's trying to assassinate him to get revenge for what Mace Windu did to his father, which was heading him in cold blood in an arena.
Mm.
On its own, not too bad of an action from him, simply because it was active combat and Jango Fett wasn't backing down. But at the same time, like when Mace Windu found out, he had a young boy with him. He looks at it, sort of shocked, but he's like nothing comes of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the show, we have Boba Fett trying to get revenge. Fails purely by chance, because when Mace Windu was about to walk into the trap, he got pulled away by a report, and some random clone trooper got hit instead. And then, so like some hijinks like that happen, right?
Yeah.
And Boba Fett is clearly distraught about that because at the end of the day, that is not his target. That was an innocent, and also his brother, one of his brothers, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So eventually, it gets to the point where Boba Fett, drops his plan for revenge without letting go of his hatred. Right? He's like, I'll never forgive you, but I'm done trying to get revenge. It's like the casualties. It's not worth it. I'll never forgive you for what you did. And Mace Windu just looks at him with the same, resting bitch face. You're going to have no, he's not. What you should at least apologize, and it's for having taken his father from him right in front of him, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this happened. But it was battle. But no, he's like, father, shit, kid, you're gonna have to forgive me for that because I'm a Jedi.
He stands for everything the Jedis were supposed to be again.
Yeah, Mace Windu is a good example of why the Jedi had such bad publicity during the Clone Wars.
Thanks.
It was actually to such an extent that apparently, so here's something that most people don't actually know. Apparently, during the time of Phantom Menace, Mace Windu was actually the Grand Master of the Order. Yoda had passed the position to him at some point before then.
Oh, I see.
But once the Clone Wars started and Jedi started getting looked at, unfavorably, he passed the position back to Yoda because, this isn't really looking right for us.
My
Yoda,
bad.
why don't you take the position back? People like you, people seem to like you. I don't know how canon that is, but this was something in like other novels and comics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But humans were supposed to be canon, as are certain comics.
Right, but I don't know if this falls under Legends or like Disney canon. So that's why I'm saying I don't know how canon it is at the moment.
I see.
But yeah, Mace Windu was actually the Grand Master of the Order during the prequels.
Yeah, I remember people really liking that character just purely because of the purple lightsaber. And that was
Yeah.
that, if I remember correctly from an earlier conversation we had, that was a choice that he's like, I want my lightsaber to be purple. Right?
Yeah, mainly because he wanted to be able to be picked out from the crowd when, like, in all the shots, right? Because it's nothing but green and blue flashes and then red blaster bolts, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, if you're gonna be in a big ass crowd with nothing but two lights all over the place, give me a special light.
Yeah, you right.
and George Lucas like, yeah, we could do that.
Apparently, the color of a lightsaber also dictates how a Jedi acts.
He's feeling he's feeling very purple today, I guess.
Well, so the thing behind that is, has to do with like the RPG mechanics that were introduced in other supplementary materials, like the D&D equivalent for Star Wars, as well as the Knights of the Old Republic games. So basically, you had 3 Jedi classes. You had Guardian, Consular, and Sentinel.
Yeah.
Guardian was your fighter, Consular was your mage, and Sentinel was kind of an in-between. It was like a thief, but like, a bit of both, but not really a master of either of those, right? Guardians had blue, Consulars had green, Sentinels had yellow. It both denoted your station and your focus, right? It wasn't always the case originally because the movies it was just blue is the good guys, red is the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
But then a editing failure for Return of the Jedi made it so that, or rather, not an editing failure, but a circumstance due to the setting when they were first shooting the desert rescue sequence in Tatooine. The blue lightsaber did not look right, or was not visible very well in that environment. So they made it green. Which worked out because Luke had lost the lightsaber he was using before, so he had to remake, right? And people lost their minds when they saw that. The green lights are like, whoa, it's another color!
The lore! The lore! Yeah, you had all those people.
It all worked out, and they keep building up on it ever since.
Yeah. And so now, like, again, the purple lightsaber was just due to a thing offset, right?
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson wanted to be able to point out his character in shots, and he asked George Lucas about the colors of the lightsabers. George Lucas explained to him exactly. It was like, the colors are very simple: blue, green, good guys, bad guys are red. And Samuel Jackson's like, they're a purple lightsaber? Like, there could be purple. Like,
I like that. They could be purple. Just there to appease Jackson. They could be purple.
No. George Lucas looked at it and was like, that could be purple.
Okay.
And it was like, all right. So they did that. And
this character really well.
yeah, and then they expanded on the lore of that too. Apparently, purple is very rare and also powerful for a crystal color for the lightsaber, right?
Yeah. Yeah, cool, yeah.
I also found a way to explain why the hell Samuel Jackson looks so angry when he's fighting in both movies.
It won't be in vain.
He uses a unique style he developed based off of the seventh lightsaber form, which is like supposed to be the aggression form. Where most practitioners who use that end up falling to the dark side. Mace Windu found a way to master that and make a new style out of it, where instead of creating aggression to fuel himself, he instead siphons off the aggression of others to use against them. So like debates are all over the place on whether or not Sidious lost the fight against him or Sidious let him win because of that. Nerd debates are everywhere. Can't decide.
To me, that just sounds like a situation where they're like, yeah.
Well, look at it how you want to see it.
Yeah. I'm obviously I'm not the guy that you would come talk to for like.
No, but it's like when you see people try to like debate and also like quantify characters' powers and abilities and whatnot. I was like, oh yeah, so here's a feat that they can do. They did this, and that, and the character that they did this against was this character who is able to do this, and that. So therefore, ergo, they scale above that and all of those feats. And I was like, no, it's matchups matter in any sort of versus. So like. Not just like, oh, so this dude could blow up a rock. Therefore, this person who stabs really well can destroy a rock too. Like, no.
That's textbook death battle for you.
Yeah, basically.
Even when Death Battle did do that with the Jedi, they at least used in-lore reasoning like actual quotes. Still didn't prove them right, but it's actually better than what most people do.
Wait, they do what?
They've done Jedi comparisons before, and they've specifically used quotes to back that up rather than just saying at comparison.
Yeah, they had one of their earlier, one of their season 1 episodes was Luke versus Harry. Luke Skywalker versus
Also,
Harry Potter. And they used
that Obi-Wan and Kashi.
Oh, I haven't watched that one. I was like, oh no.
Well, you have got to watch the animation at least. That is just perfect.
Oh, did they animate it really well?
It's 3D, but it's got memes in a non-intrusive way.
I wonder if they used Kakashi's 3D model from
the Storm series.
One of the games.
The Storm series. Yeah.
Or from like fucking Jump Force or something.
Oh, Jump Force just looks ugly, man.
Definitely not Jump Force. I think they only used the clip from that once.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't typically watch Death Battles videos if it's like a book or I feel like I'm about to sneeze, but like I don't really watch any of their episodes that involve something plus anime because like they either blow the anime character out of proportion or they understate the anime character so heavily based on like, oh well, despite how flashy the sequence of the battle that this character took place in only did like at the end of the day you still got to remember that he only did this, which is pales in comparison to what this character can do on a regular. I was like, okay, The most egregious example was Gara versus Toph. It was just stupid.
Who won that one?
Toph.
Don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, and you want to know what their reasoning behind it was?
What?
Because one of the like little tidbits that the creators of have mentioned in an episode was that can sense rocks in the air, right?
Yeah.
Yet she can sort of sense them just because she can bend it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's her the reasoning behind why she was able to fight against Gara at all, and why she would be able to kill him is because he coats himself in sand, right?
Yeah.
So therefore she could just crush him to death with his own sand, even though that's not even taking into account the fact that Gara controls it with his own life force chakra, right?
Uh-huh.
I was like how do you define chakra in a setting where you don't where like chi is not really your own life force, but just something that you can sort of manipulate, right?
I still believe he'd win. Just they needed to explain it a lot better.
Yeah, but they didn't explain it well. That's the thing. Like the crux of their whole reasoning was that, like Gar is really strong, right? But Toph, she's strong too, and he's not actually blind against Gara. Oh, therefore, her biggest disability is not a problem. Right? It was like that's not an explanation for why she wins.
As somebody who's watched,
especially since they used the adult they used adult versions of them in their calculations, but then like in presentation they used their teenage form, right?
Yeah.
Probably easier to
like the stuff that Gar's done as an adult against like the old Susukis and all the weird space people that they fought against, right? And like they talk about, oh yeah, Toph, in the comics after the show where she's still a child, oh yeah, she can do this, and that, yeah. And so therefore, like, and also like as an elderly lady, she can still do this, and that. Therefore, if you look at her prime, she could do all of that, but better, which means you could theoretically assume that she'd be able to do this, and that. Therefore, she's greater than this character who we actually know with a definitive amount. We're just going to assume she's better because we don't know. I was like, that's not how you scale and debate.
They did try to lean on the fact that it was more of how Gara fought defensively rather than offensively at the start, but
even though Gara fights by even though it's been pointed out in multiple fights that Gara is not a defensive player, he does both simultaneously. That's the benefit of the way he fights.
And
look at his fight against Kimimaro. He defended himself and another, and also pressed his attack against his adversary.
And in some cases, worst case scenario, he doesn't even have to think about it because that sand does it for him sometimes.
Yeah. So in all honesty, Toph should not have won that fight. And I love Toph. Toph is amazing.
She's a cool character,
right?
But she is not at the level of the anime shenanigans that Gara does.
You can argue what you want for someone like the Avatar,
yeah,
right? Or one of the characters that's boosted by Sozin's Comet or the Full Moon or something, right? You can make an argument for one of those, but at the end of the day, those aren't like super. Overdone. They're not super exaggerated power-ups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Katara was being bloodbent by an old lady, right?
Yeah.
But she didn't know how to stop it because she didn't know how to bloodbend. Then she stopped it just instinctively by drawing on the power of the full moon, granting her more strength, right?
Yeah.
That's feasible, right? But it's not like, oh, suddenly I'm buffer than you, right?
Yeah.
No, it's that she was able to resist it enough to fight back to where it wasn't affecting her anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then she reflexively used the technique itself to stop a bad situation happening. And then Toph learned how to metal bend simply because her blindness helped her notice that was even possible, right? As metal is just refined earth, right?
Yeah.
And Toph saw the bits of earth inside the metal and moved those. Why everything that she touches in that show, it basically crumples like a paper. She's not bending the metal, she's bending the rocks that are inside the metal. And since those are all disjointed and small, it's like taking a wireframe ball, right?
Yeah.
And scrunching that up. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, my friend, it's Death Battle doing what they do best, which is
bullshitting their way into making a decision.
Yeah.
And making everybody annoyed by it because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yep, you're right.
What it does, they kind of say are so condescending about it.
Yeah, and top it off is that they pat themselves on the back and then point out fans for getting angry about it by saying, no, we're in the right here because we said so. It doesn't matter how wrong we are. No, we're like you say we're wrong because of this, and that. Well, fuck you, we're right. I was like, all you have to say is just like, oh, it's like, yeah, we didn't take that into consideration.
Whoops.
Like just say that. Like, this is what we came to with what we had. We did. That wasn't in the calculation or consideration. Therefore, it didn't actually factor in. But thank you anyway. They could just, be civil about it. But no, it's like everybody's just like, look at these people trying to get angry about something that we did on the internet. Let's fucking let's do what fucking Ryan Johnson and the rest of Star Wars Disney did, and blame the people that are giving us views for not liking it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Oh, be dealing with these guys here. Whoopsie. But yeah, that definitely sounds like a thing that they would have done.
Honestly, the only recent time I've just absolutely given up on them recently is just with Akuma versus Shao Kahn.
Oh God! Wait, they did Akuma as well?
Yeah,
I remember Bison versus Shao Kahn.
And requested heavily review requests, and it just came out awful in every aspect.
Thank you.
Oh well, toast.
So don't watch it unless you want to see something on how not to make a video.
Honestly, whenever I think of anything Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat related, it's got to be that Ryu versus Scorpion video from like way back when YouTube first started. That shit was really great.
Oh sweet, another level up. They're being really stingy with stats now. That's fine. It's fine. We only save one group of people, that's all that matters. Dimitri just soloing everybody here on this side.
Well, he's got people right behind him right there. Yeah. What do you mean he's solo?
They don't matter. Let's be fair about that. They don't matter.
It's morale.
Like, you got this, Dimitri. Kill him till they're dead.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Basically.
yeah, you guys are pretty much see me do cleanup, and hopefully I get away with what I'm doing because they're swarming from the top right now. They're all trying to flood in from the top left. If I do play my cards right, I should be able to get out scot free because I'm being a little reckless here. But you know, the conversation you guys had, good one in terms of that. Well, please don't. Okay, good.
Yeah, I provide unnecessary nerd info or trivia, rather. Yeah, I provide unnecessary nerd trivia.
That's good. Oh, yeah, there it is. There he is. Good. You devilish rogue, you. Yeah, ignore the 5.
And also show how much of a boomer I am by complaining about everything.
I mean, is that really exclusive to being a boomer?
No, but it's just easier to identify.
You don't have to be a boomer to be a boomer.
Yeah.
You right. You right. Good thing we got Bernadetta here. In terms of classes, I love classes that give you the aesthetic of one thing and then just completely flip the expectation of what they're supposed to be by having them armed like Bernadetta. Like when you think of Heavy Knight and you just see them using a bow and arrow, you're like, why though?
I mean, knights also use bows and arrows.
Yeah, let's see.
Maybe not the heavily armored ones on the front line, but like, you know, you have that.
Mm-hmm.
I must keep going.
I love having stuff like that. Gives me happiness. All right. Okay. So we got to deal with you. Oh, great, Annette. You're kind of in a rough spot. Let's alleviate that. Get rid of this dude. Got our little nuke here doing all this damage.
You lost that.
Obviously, Ferdinand's level 14, so he's doing nothing. That's the only reason why.
Always feed him some pills.
Nah, he's not on the team. He's only here for a reason.
He's just there for more support. He's the mascot.
Go team, go!
Yo, what's up?
I'm so tricky. No phone signal, no Wi-Fi.
There's no TV. There's no TV.
Pretty much, dude. I'm fucking pissed.
Dude, that's how I felt when
You missed some lengthy conversations about Star Wars and YouTube content creators.
Did somebody say Star Wars?
I'm all about that Star Wars.
Yep, too late. You missed it all. We're done with it.
But we can talk. Nope, we're done with it.
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about trailers, so I brought up that the Obi-Wan trailer not too long ago. And Mark quickly pointed out, oh, well, that's not going to be very interesting because we know he lives, so what's it matter? Completely disregarding the fact that, you know, pretty much every other thing that we've watched is like, well, we know the X, Y, and Z isn't going to happen, but that doesn't stop it from being good or bad, depending on actors.
Pretty much, it's like Obi-Wan failed, my dude.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was telling him how like it looks based on the trailer, it looks like it's going to be focusing on the Empire and the Inquisitors trying to hunt down Jedi, and this being the Obi-Wan show. He's like he's going to be front and center for that Jedi hunt, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then we got on.
And that's where the comment was like, oh, but we know he's gonna live, so why do we care? I was like, oh, we don't know what's gonna happen in the show.
Pretty much.
And the Jar Jar Binks, the Mace Windu, to lightsaber colors.
Yeah, I got to be the nerd lore guy and explain stupid things.
You mean explain the truth? The truth that hurts the basic bitches?
That depends. Which truth are you talking about?
And who's basic?
You are.
Well,
All you non-Star
Oh, you are playing Blue Lions.
Yeah. You right. You right. You right.
How can you ask who's basic like you're not?
Oh.
You are.
No, I'm not lying about it. At the end of the day.
If you want the Blue Lions.
Let's see.
All I can say is it sucks to be a. It's gonna suck to be a Star Wars fan. Once, did you hear what happened?
That depends which one.
Maybe you
Kathleen
should sleep in it.
Wait, what?
Kathleen Kennedy is not happy with how Obi-Wan turned out.
Oh, did she make another statement about that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why is she still in charge?
Because Disney wants a woman in charge.
I'm sorry.
He's clearly pointed out that she's a fucking idiot.
Wait, what's going
Well,
on? What's going on, guys?
So, like, back when Mandalorian Season 1 finished, Obi-Wan was slated to come out next originally, right?
Yeah.
It was going to be a 4-episode thing, but like each episode was going to be like roughly an hour or maybe slightly more.
Start that.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
And it was implied that it was going to be mainly about Obi-Wan, going on adventures trying to protect Luke while he's growing up on Tatooine.
Yeah.
But Kathleen Kennedy said, "Oh, yeah, but that's just the Mandalorian that we just did. That's too similar to this show that we just released. We can't do that. That's the same."
Mm-hmm.
Completely disregarding the fact that The Force Awakens exists, which is just A New Hope.
Yeah.
Even George Lucas pointed out when they showed him the test screening for it. It's the same. Why would you do this? It's what I did. It's like the beauty of Star Wars is that you can make any story. Why would you make the same story instead of making something new?
I know a guy named Linkar who vouched for that movie, but
I mean,
yeah.
don't get us wrong. The Force Awakens is a good movie for people who are not really acquainted with Star Wars.
Yes, it is. It is a good movie because it's just doing stuff that another good movie did, which is. I get what you're saying. It's a good hopping on point for people that aren't caught up, right?
Second one,
it's a good starting point. But at the same time, like
how it's doing things differently by making you think it's doing the same thing.
No.
But everybody gives up by that point.
No, it's just New Hope with some elements of Empire and Return of the Jedi. It's just the original trilogy bundled up into one.
I'll have to show you the reviews, the opinions on it.
I've seen opinions of it, and I agree with multiple of them. At the same time, I can see the argument for it not being that, but at the end of the day, you can't deny that it pretty much is.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, he's the only one who had an opinion specifically like that, but maybe not.
Well, that's
I've seen other YouTubers point out before the George Lucas thing, not even mention George Lucas and point out how similar it is to A New Hope, and even pointing out every single individual parallel to it. And even the movie points out that it's just like A New Hope.
It's
like the fucking Doomsday weapon. It's just another Death Star.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I love
her movie, her story. So stop being A New Hope. And so it stops being A New Hope. And then the third movie happens and everything is ruined.
You see, the whole premise with the movie, the whole premise that people had with The Last Jedi is the way it ended. It wasn't even the fact that it's straight off that,
Yeah, I think I would have preferred if we kept going with how Last Jedi went.
Exactly. That's legit the issue. It's like, okay, so you pretty much you neutered Luke. All right, that's fine. So episode 9, you expect them to continue, Rey is nobody, she's nobody.
But then they had so much backlash from The Last Jedi that they had to double back on everything that happened in Last Jedi in the last movie, which is, instead of giving us a good final movie, we instead got a movie trying to tell us, just ignore the previous movie. That didn't happen.
Yeah, and that's what made basically The Last Jedi pretty bad, because they basically went damage people.
I watched Last Jedi, and honestly, I didn't hate it.
Like the first two,
no,
you gotta admit that the last one is just doing nothing.
Like, everything that happens in Rise of Skywalker does not make sense, and everything that you could explain away is only there to try. Actually, not even that. Like, everything that happens in Rise of Skywalker is there to facilitate the plot so that it can undo what The Last Jedi set out to do.
Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, Last Jedi was actually ahead of its time. Because, Rian Johnson did, took out our expectations, because everybody was expecting, Rey to be the daughter of Luke. Oh, snap.
Right, because of all the setup from Force Awakens, right? Like, in this aspect, it was a double-edged sword, right? So, like, J.J. Abrams tends to everybody's pointed this out. J.J. Abrams does like a mystery box, right? When he does movies, he pulls out like little tidbits of information as a mystery, right? It's not about the answer. It's about the intrigue, right?
Yeah.
But he relied on that so much in The Force Awakens that it stemmed out into all the speculations, all the debating, all the analyzing, right? And then Last Jedi, we had Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson looked at all of Star Wars as like, yeah, I see where the fans are going with this. Wouldn't it be cool if we didn't do that? That would be unexpected. It would shake up the formula.
It's an interesting choice. It's not a bad one, but
it wasn't like in the context of Force Awakens, it was not the best move.
Seriously,
but it wasn't a horrible.
For her.
And does The Last Jedi have problems? Yes, it does. As a movie on its own, yes, it has problems. Could it have been better with what it had? Yes, it could have. It's still better than Rise of Skywalker.
Ready for anything.
Yeah,
any movie is better than the third sequel movie.
Well, that's the thing, though, because like the Rise of Skywalker, like we were saying, it was just damage control. It was just going.
Yeah.
Let's fix everything that Rian Johnson fucked up. It's like, no, the reason it became fucked up is because, for starters, you guys didn't plan out the movies like you were supposed to. You just basically went, here, let me pump out a Star Wars movies, and this is all coming from the president of Lucasfilms right now, which is
because they don't have any material at all to pull from, like all the other movies that they've been doing, right? They don't have 800-page novels. They don't have an entire wall full of comics. No, none of that. It's just the creative writers in a room trying to come up with ideas of what's interesting and cool, completely disregarding the fact that they had all of that and decided that's too daunting of a task to keep track of. So instead, we're going to make it easier on us by saying that they don't exist temporarily, but we can pull from them as we see fit, which will then make it official, right? And on paper, that's fine. I get it. Star Wars is a lot. There's a lot of Star Wars. It was probably the right move. Doesn't change the fact that that's 40 years worth of content that people have experienced, liked, and and adored, and you're like, yeah, so we're just gonna put all of that in the trash. Actually, we're just gonna put it in a bag. All right, we're gonna throw it in the bag. We're gonna tie up the bag. We're gonna put it aside in the corner. All right, that's not there anymore. And then when they get criticized for not making anything good, they're like, well, we don't have anything to pull from that is good. Like there's nothing there. Like, bruh, look at the last 40 fucking years. It's there.
No, what pisses me, I'm sorry, what still gets me salty is Mara Jade, my dude. That's the only one that, like, out of the expanded universe.
It exists, yeah.
They should have kept her in. You know, that's the one thing that I'm going.
Yeah.
Why?
Like, why the fuck would they not bring that in? Like, that's such a good character.
And if you're wondering who that is, Mark, that's basically Luke Skywalker's wife in the expanded universe.
She's a badass.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She basically is the Videl of Star Wars.
Started cool, had a lot of promise, but they're like, nah, that's not the character we're looking for.
Yeah, no, like it, because they chose not to focus on Luke. Instead, they chose to make a new trilogy about a completely new character, but they're still going to rely entirely on the fact that people want to see Luke.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, no. Like it. There are so many ways you could have gone about that, even using the original cast. Like it's quite telling that Mark Hamill quite literally showed his disappointment with what happened before the movies officially came out. Like, there are videos all over the place. Like 50 times Mark Hamill tried to warn us about the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill tried to warn us about The Last Jedi. All the times Mark Hamill tried to warn us about the tragedy of Disney Star Wars. Wow.
It would really sense. You know, another thing that really pisses off the fans is the fact that they didn't have the three of them reunite under one movie.
Right? Like, why would they not do that? All the things.
Exactly.
Like that.
Harrison Ford
Could have been what happened. Hell, like Mark Hamill thought for sure that he was gonna make an appearance at the end of the movie of the Force Awakens to like help save the day, right? Because like when he first saw the footage for the the lightsaber in the snow, and like, oh, the bad guy and Rey are gonna try and like pull the lightsaber, right? And it's like, oh, this is where I come in, isn't it? Oh, this is supposed to be where I'm supposed to show up, right? What? Why did it go to her?
Oh my goodness, my dog barking.
Hasn't even been to Dagobah. He had fun with it, but it's like, I was like, yeah, that actually would have been a good idea, right? Just like, oh, like everybody's searching for Luke, right? Like the whole movie's just like, we need to find Luke. We need the map to find Luke. And it's like, and then like while the heroes are at their lowest moment trying to stop the bad guys, and like, oh, the lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, the legacy lightsaber.
Exactly.
That guy's gonna try and reach for it, but then Luke takes it instead. That would have been awesome. But no.
Nope.
So we got, Rey got it in. Rey just channels the Force, lets herself become a conduit, and let's go to the Force and beat the bad guy by swinging really hard.
Pretty much, and it's basically it's fucking disappointing.
Well,
yeah. It's a lot of missed potential, mainly.
Basically, Kathleen Kennedy is the one who approved it. That's why right now with the Obi-Wan, we're worried. I'm worried.
It's because the Force is female.
But
please, yeah.
You don't know about that?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Mark, you don't know about that?
I did. What? What am I supposed
Her,
to?
her debut on stage when they announced that she was taking over. One of the first things she did when she made a public appearance was to walk out on stage and open up her jacket to show a shirt that says "The Force is female."
Okay, and and
woke Star Wars. That's like what basically what she did is if you were to go up to the most devout Christian and tell them God is a woman.
She didn't do that. Canonically, the most powerful Force user in existence was already female, a godlike creature.
Which one are we talking about?
Star Wars Clone Wars, the brother and the sister.
Oh, that yeah.
They actually expanded
that. Yeah, and then there was also a character in the comics that was essentially immortal because of how pure they were in the lifetime of the Force.
In a book, it took Luke and several Sith Lords just to stop her, and they couldn't kill her.
Let's make this quick.
Oh no, not that one is. But
my favorite scene will always be, all right, Grogu, don't show up to school tomorrow. Anakin, one day before Order 66.
Anyways, yeah, if she really cared, she would have just looked for her, tossed her in the movie. But then they
and Obi-Wan's met that character too, so it's not far-fetched to throw a character like that into something already, but at the same time, it's also kind of contained to that one specific place, though.
So was that just a publicity stunt, or is she actually saying it's canonical? The Force is a female.
It's that she's basically trying to push agendas.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like with the actors of Captain Marvel saying that she could lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah, which is false. She's not worthy of Thor's hammer. We've seen it.
We'll put off cartoons.
Yeah.
Just for that one moment.
Yeah. Because the creators of that no, fuck that statement. No, we're gonna put Mjolnir right on top of her, and she's not gonna be able to get up.
She gets fun of.
It's funny how the way that they frame it, the way you're saying is that, oh yeah, I say it that way because I'm a woman and therefore it is true, because
Yeah, but and the creator's nah, fuck that.
No. I don't mind having the strong female characters thing. My mom still is kind of in the aspect of women don't fight. I'm well, I understand your point of view from that, but the thing is that they can, but don't start inserting characters that into a universe where things are already the way they are, and then you're oh well, just because I'm a woman, because we have rights, quote unquote, we have rights now, we can now do it because I said so. No reasoning, no logic about it, just because I said so. And that to me is where
I'm much more forgiving towards fiction on something like gender roles inequality, because it's fiction. You can do whatever, right? But at least make it still make sense, right?
Yes.
Don't say that a little girl is the most qualified person to save the world in a fist fight to the death with the embodiment of all evil, simply because, not because she's pure of heart and that purity is what's going to defeat them, but because she's a girl and she's a strong empowered woman. No, that's.
And if you think she's entitled, then you just
saying that a female is strong because they're female is not good writing.
Then they make the character entitled and call you a bigot if you just point.
Exactly. You want to look at how to do quote unquote strong female character, right? Write a good character,
attached,
and then make them female.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at Ripley, Ellen Ripley from Alien, one of the best female characters of all time in anything was not written to be a female. It was just a character. The only name was Ripley, which was a surname. Like you had surnames for the characters, and you had the characters role in the story. That's it. Right? That's all they had.
We'll see how things play out here.
Everything else for like character specifics was handled after casting was done.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why Ripley became such a fucking badass, because they wrote her perfectly, you know.
Yeah, and then they capitalized on it with the sequel, Aliens, the whole thing about like motherhood and bravery and whatnot, right? Mm. And how did they do that? By pitting her against the mother of xenomorphs. To save what's essentially her now surrogate daughter, because her real daughter died of old age already by then. But yeah.
Let's see. Better crit.
Like after that first movie, Alien as a franchise became about motherhood, right?
And that and
I need to run away better than that.
No, people complain that, you know, female led character, you know, women, you know, feminists always complain that men get mad about female led, you know, women characters. It's like,
but they don't look at the past.
Fuck it, dude. It's like one of my favorite characters, and she will always be Ripley.
Yes,
because they wrote her so perfectly that I have nothing against her.
Yeah, and her character progression makes sense.
Exactly.
Like she does again. Look at Aliens, right? The sequel movie, right? The second movie.
Yeah.
After surviving the encounter with the xenomorph, and then also being found like 70 fucking years later, or finding out her only daughter is dead already from old age or something. She missed her own child's growth and outlived her. Right?
Exactly.
And she's traumatized from both that discovery and also just the fact that she was in such a scary situation with the xenomorph. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The beginning part of the movie takes care to show that she's suffering from actual problems of PTSD and such, right? Like she's having nightmares of the xenomorph. She's depressed about her daughter and all this other stuff. Like if you were to look at a female character nowadays and be like, oh, this is the female lead, we're gonna put her through the most traumatic things imaginable. And she's going to be so iron-willed, so strong that it's not going to affect her at all. They're going to go through this life or death situation, and they're going to get hurt physically.
Oh wait,
like,
so that, that sounds like?
Whatever.
No, it sounds like female Superman. That just sounds like female Superman.
That was nothing.
Wait, that sounds like female Superman at that point.
Yeah, basically, that's like taking the stereotypical toughness comment of just like, oh yeah, suffering from anything like that, because that would be unmanly. That's not right.
And then they do nothing to earn it.
And then modern writers just like, oh yeah, well, like if the men can be accepted for doing that, then the women can't do. Like you can play into the nature of gender roles and gender stereotypes to enhance a product, to enhance a story.
If you want something like that, just not say anything at all. If you want them to not have the character development, don't have them say anything. Make them solid protagonists that kicks butt.
Yeah.
Make us wonder what happened to make them like this.
Yeah, like Samus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Samus is more of a, I would say, more of a Nintendo thing, not necessarily on a, should we think about this from being a gender cool thing or not?
No, they did that. They did that simply to subvert your expectations.
But
I'm more
talking about long term.
Lie to you and say he.
I'm more talking about long term wise, though.
Oh well, no, but like again, they wanted to subvert expectations. Plus, Alien had come out recently, right?
Yeah.
Alien was a thing by then. So, as like, but in the instruction manual and all the other information about that game, it was like, oh yeah, it's like you like in this game, you take the role of Samus. He is it says he multiple times, right?
Yeah.
He is a bounty hunter working for the Galactic Federation, investigating a problem on this planet, right, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you go through the game, and once you beat the game and you do all this cool stuff, fighting giant aliens, monsters, and stopping planetary threats and escaping a exploding planet, reveals, oh, you're actually a chick. Wasn't that cool? Like, whoa, what? But they haven't played that up since then, other than Other M, and that was done extremely poorly.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the reasons, like for me, I enjoy, the whole Ellen Ripley, Samus, because like when women are written, believable, you enjoy them. Yeah. That's one of the reasons if we're going down, for Mark to really get it, it's like how Videl was first written.
Yeah.
They gave her an actual character arc. They wrote her
personality.
Well. Exactly.
Yeah. And they kept it consistent.
Mm-hmm. And that's the reason.
Super. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of Z.
By the end of Z, what?
She fighter, well, you guys.
Wait, hold on. Reggie, you cut out. Reggie, you cut out. You had like dead silence for a long time. Oh, there was another dragon there.
You cut off at you're trying at the beginning of explaining Videl.
Do that again.
There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay, yeah, I saw the icon on my computer change after you started out.
Okay. Screw that one.
There you go. But I know they didn't say specifically in Z that she didn't want to be a fighter. That's not really the case. It's more like she kind of noticed also that the things that they're getting up to was out of her league. But that doesn't mean she's not going to be a tough and and what and all that other stuff, right? It's just that she's not a Z fighter, right? Like Chi-Chi. That Chi-Chi wanted to be a mother, right?
Yeah.
Chi-Chi wanted to be a housewife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in Super, they do imply that she is a big fan of the Saiyaman stuff, so that does hint towards the possibility of her putting on the costume.
Yeah, because she enjoys it. She's a public hero already, just for being
the daughter of Mr. Satan. Yeah. Oh man, seems like we're losing Reggie a lot. I think his mic is probably.
No, but I mean, what Reggie's saying is, pretty fucking true. That's one of the reasons, I like Videl, because they wrote her, consistently.
There we go. Okay.
And then we have, like Captain Marvel. He's not written consistently.
No.
Because so the movie is completely different than what the actual, the actual fucking.
Yeah, no.
So comic.
Endgame was filmed before Captain Marvel, also. So, Brie Larson's whole shtick and role was done before her solo movie, and I think that kind of contributed to her ego trip with alongside the agenda thing that they're trying to push, right? Because here she comes brand new to the franchise, one-upping and saving everybody from certain doom. And then so she's like, oh yeah, I'm the strongest character is because blah blah blah. I could beat all of them. and then you get her solo movie, which is actually not bad, but at the same time, not the best, not great. Especially the whole empowerment thing either. Like the empowerment thing that happens in that movie, while it makes sense for the time period that the movie's set, thematically, like this, like in its own bubble, it works. But considering the fact that it was to introduce her for the wider universe that was there, kind of a little late on doing something like that. Considering we already have Black Widow, who, like female stereotypes is not really a hindrance for her because she uses that. She's supposed to use that to her advantage as a spy, as a femme fatale.
What the heck, man? It's like every single time I dodge. Ah, yeah. Go ahead.
And you have Lady Sif from Thor's circle. Warrior goddess essentially. You had Valkyrie introduced already, who was a traumatized individual hiding behind booze and other luxuries to get away from the trauma until she sees that she needs to take up her duty again. You have Black Panther had come out already. Also, you had Shuri, Black Panther's sister, who basically runs all of Wakanda and invents everything for Wakanda. Like, female empowerment did not need to be the focus of a movie that came out after all of those, right before Endgame comes out and wipes half of the populace out. Right? That did not need to be a thing.
That's one of the reasons, for me, I don't enjoy fucking, I don't enjoy Brie Larson as a person.
Yeah, she kind of went off the deep end once she got brought into Marvel. Like, she was fine before that, and she can act. I will give her that. She the fact that she has a couple Oscar nominations or whatever is proof of that already with her other roles, right? I'll accept that. But you can't deny that her acting in Marvel specifically has been very stiff and mostly kind of bad.
I'll do my best.
Her best moment in any of those movies, due to the character that she's playing on paper, is probably the interaction she has with Spider-Man during Endgame.
What's my strategy?
And also when she's bouncing off of Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury in Captain Marvel. Those were the best showings of her character as it's presented on paper, right?
Yeah.
Everything else has been very dry, bland, and unemotional.
Because they're too afraid to go and ruin that figure, right?
Well, no, not even that. I'm saying that her acting is too wooden. It's too robotic. It doesn't feel alive.
I see.
That's what it means when you say somebody's acting is wooden. It's like if I was to. It's like looking at. It's like looking at the conversation from Symphony of the Night, right? Like you've got the really bad acting of Richter Belmont. Is like, die, monster! You don't belong in this world. And then you got Dracula hamming it the fuck up. It's like, was not by my hand I was once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish, like, it's bad, right? But it's like like you can tell that there's some kind of emotion behind it, right?
Yeah.
Right? And like, they wish to pay me tribute. Tribute? You steal men's souls, then make them your slaves. I was like, but it's really fucking bad, right? And then you get and like that's, you know, it's not realistic. It's not emotive. It's wooden. It's stale. It's bland, right?
Yeah.
It's just bad and stiff. It's like if you were to look at a stage actor trying to force their lines and enunciate every word in their script properly, right? Instead of being the character. Like, Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Like it's like, you know, and that's what I'm like getting at when I say that, like, Brie Larson's acting in majority of her showings for Marvel has been kind of wooden and stale. It's unemotive.
Okay, I didn't miss much while my phone died.
Yo, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Standard occurrence here. That and Explodes falling asleep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you left because we were getting too political in here.
I don't even... Wait, that's political?
Yeah. Well, technically,
we've been talking about gender roles and whatnot, and you know, the state of Hollywood as it currently is and how woke it is. So yeah, that's
yeah,
political.
I'm fine with that as long as it's something I agree with. I'm pretty much fine with it. And even if it isn't, I'm probably just going to try and talk about it.
Yeah.
So what about that Biden guy, huh?
I don't know.
Let's stick to how stupid it is that Hollywood's trying to be woke.
Of course, I'm joking, Explodes, but yeah, I don't know. Like the only thing that comes to my mind is the whole women's shot from the Avengers Endgame movie.
I mean, that was on its own. That was cool, right? Because like, yeah, except for the fact that they forced it with the whole like, oh, how are you gonna manage all of that? I speak to the most powerful person here in the scene, and then all the weaker people are like, don't worry, she'll have help. Like,
even the strong ones are still kind of weaker than her.
Yeah, I know, but like, you like take into account the fact that like in the entire final battle of Endgame, like the two strongest characters, rather the three strongest characters there is Captain Marvel, Thor, and Scarlet Witch. I mean, you also got Doctor Strange, so there's four, right? But
also Hulk, but that's kind of a weird situation.
Hulk doesn't count right now. Hulk did not count in Infinity War or Endgame. Let's be real. Hulk was not there. Those were the most powerful characters there, right?
Yeah.
And Peter, like Captain Marvel, just flew in, completely bodied an entire Star Cruiser. Right? She just flew straight through a Star Destroyer, sank it, just by flying through it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't shoot it. She didn't punch it. That was just her in her natural travel trajectory, destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Peter looks at her like, "Oh, but how are you going to get through all those guys? You know, like you mean the cannon fodder pawns that are just there to get shot at?"
I mean, like, even the weakest can do that.
I imagine she just flies straight through them.
Sorry, but it's your
But I was like, how are you going to get through that? Oh, she'll have help. We'll stop them and clear the path. It's like,
even the weakest of us can kill them with minimal effort. Just let me fly through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but like, and that's why that part was forced. But I don't mind the moment on its own. The shot itself was cool, but yes, it was forced. Yeah, I will agree. And I also have a problem with how forced it was.
It was pretty cringy. Let's be honest.
Ew, you're cringe. Oh wow, you could hear myself on the other side.
Yeah.
Who was that? Who was that? Let's see. Oh, cool. Could take this guy out. But yeah, the main. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I don't really watch many other movies besides the stuff I'm used to. So yeah, I don't have much experience about what has been really just thrown in there for the sake of, oh yeah, we gotta do it for Whammon because Whammon are strong. But I feel
everything that's come out in the last decade. Well, not everything, but like a good chunk of things that have come out in the last decade, mainly in the last 5 years, but it started picking up speed in the last decade. I mean, just look at all the reboots that have happened of female-centric, movies that weren't originally female.
I feel like we kind of went off because I know Jose was trying to say something about that, but then the conversation got carried away from there. But so,
Jose, I mean, it was we ended up talking about Brie Larson, so that in itself delves into Marvel as well.
Yeah, no, because that's basically, what we were talking about right now. Because that's the whole gist, like, after Reggie is saying it is basically right now the reason why people have problems with female-led superhero movies or female-led movies is because they don't write them or give them good character arcs.
No, because having a flaw would make them not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Which makes no sense because the entire point of having a female-led character is it doesn't even matter if it's a female-led character, even a male.
Exactly.
They need to have a character flaw. They need to have something that makes them, get up.
And that grounds them in the story for development and change. Because at the end of the day, a story is about change.
Exactly.
I really hope they leave Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel, but Miss Marvel untouched. Because they have plans for her in the MCU.
Well,
I don't remember what that was for, but they had plans.
All right, here goes. For me, like the biggest character that I love, and I know that she had fucking terrible movies, and terrible character comic arcs. Jean Grey.
Oh yeah, Jean Grey is great.
Yeah, the whole reason why Jean Grey, has terrible movies and terrible that is because her character arc is her coming into terms with the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
But there's been good comics that depict her accepting it, and then we have
3 movies dealing with the Phoenix Force.
Exactly. Don't know how to deal with it.
It doesn't help that she's usually the girlfriend of Cyclops, who is literally just awful.
And also Cyclops got shit on so badly in all the movies he's been in. Like, Cyclops is supposed to be really cool.
Except when he's not, because he's a whole dickbag.
Well, that's one of the reasons. For me, the most what I love more about Marvel, it's not even the Avengers or any of that. It's the X-Men characters.
Because they're some of the most compelling characters that Marvel has. And they can cover just about any topic.
Except modern day Cyclops, who is pretty much cause for half of Marvel's problems.
And for me, the reason why I enjoy X-Men is because the reason why they were written was during the African American movement.
They're an allegory for racism. Yeah,
exactly. And not just discrimination against the African Americans, but discrimination with any minority. That's for the reason why the X-Men were diverse. That's one of the reasons they had Native American, they had a German, they had an African American, they had Canadian, because they wanted to make this group of basically ragtag individuals come into one. And that's one of the reasons I always enjoyed,
Exactly.
the whole.
Oh, if we were just to look at the core cast of X-Men from just the movies, that alone was supposed to be like a diverse group of individuals already, right? Like you have Canadian Wolverine, you have you have Boy Scout Cyclops, who, spoiler alert, is supposed to be like super dedicated to the cause, and like super uptight about everything, kind of like Mark is at work, right? He's like super uptight about everything and by the books and by the rules and all that stuff because he's so invested in the idea behind Xavier's goal and dream. Like Cyclops is kind of like he's kind of an empty shell for in most of the comics, and so his actions and his personality is mainly a byproduct of him being this devoted soldier to a cause that he thinks is greater than himself because he has nothing other than his own love life, right? Which keeps getting fucked up anyway because Cyclops is constantly cheating on Jean Grey.
Wow, really?
Which even then was not supposed to be his original character anyway. That the whole thing about him cheating on Jean Grey with every other female character is something that they added because the writers don't like Cyclops because they think he's boring. Because he's, as I've mentioned, he's a Boy Scout. He's gonna be extremely by the books and super stingy about that to everybody.
And then they had him start several wars.
Yeah. But the whole reason behind that is because he's supposed to be that way because he's leading the team, a team that is extremely dysfunctional. It's a team full of dysfunctional individuals, and he has to lead them like they're a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
He's a better leader than Captain America is.
Yeah, no, because there's been comics which was been Avengers versus X-Men that basically shows that Cyclops is a better leader than Captain America.
Yeah.
There's been instances that the Avengers lost.
Then why does he try to kill everyone in the end?
Because
why does he blame someone else for his fault
the writers
killing Xavier?
That's the writers, because the writers want to. It's like when Captain America became part of Hydra. That one comic back in
that was so stupid.
The Hell Hydra. They want that shock value, and so imagine you have the perfect Boy Scout that's been following Xavier. Basically, goes, you know what, fuck you, and then kills him.
Right? Yeah, that's just
blame Wolverine or the humans or.
Also, the fact that Wolverine has grown up in popularity by a considerable margin more. Mm-hmm. The fact that Wolverine is kind of his good traits of his honorable traits and whatnot, and the fact that he's a badass. He is a little gremlin. He is smelly. He's stinky. He's short. He's hairy. Nobody fucking likes him, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if Wolverine was in the real world, people would still not like him. And people would not like him.
Yeah, they'd like him after a few beers. Not the sexual.
Oh, yeah.
He's fun to hang out with. He's just not fun to be around 24/7.
Yeah. And that's something that the movies don't take into consideration. The movies and by extension other media that has taken their cues from the movies, or some of the other comics that were already trying to make them more approachable to a general audience, is Wolverine is not the hero of the X-Men. He's a loose cannon. And most people like loose cannons in fiction because they don't play by the rules. They get things in their own way, right? They're independent.
They often have him try to learn something.
Yeah.
It's a slow process. They know it has to be slow.
Here's the funny thing: Wolverine likes Cyclops, despite the fact that they don't get along. Wolverine dislikes Cyclops' attitude and his by the books thing, but he respects him because of how good he is at his job, right? Like they have respect for each other. While like they may not like each other, but they have a respect for each other. Cyclops knows Wolverine will do, the opposite of what they would want. But you can usually calculate that and take that into consideration when making his decisions.
So it's pretty much him being like, it's pretty much him just going like, Boy Scout, don't tell me what to do, but I'm gonna join you in the what's the thing called, the Blackbird anyway, that type of thing.
No, it's like all right, guys. So here's the plan. We're going to attack. We're going to approach a situation like this, and Wolverine's just like, no, I'm gonna go in there now. Right?
I know.
It's more like that kind of thing. Yeah, the two don't get along. Not helped by the fact that Wolverine is constantly trying to hit on Jean Grey.
Wait, you know what's funny? You say that Cyclops cheats on Jean Grey all the time, right?
Again, something that comic writers started doing because they don't like Cyclops. They like Wolverine and
his boyfriend, anyways. Not a cheating prick kind of boyfriend, but probably not the best choice.
And the only time it made any sense was when Emma Frost hooked up with him after Jean Grey had quote unquote died.
Quote unquote.
But he wasn't actually dead.
Oh.
Whew. But yeah.
Quite a meaty conversation, boys. I'm very proud of that. Always goes back to Marvel.
And though Jose, I think his phone died in the middle of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Jeez. By the way, this entire side quest took a long time because of conversation. I really want to talk, and I made a lot of misplays.
His phone call about his internet.
Blame the conversation for all the deaths that you had. Yeah, sure.
I was like, yeah. Thanks, Reggie. Thanks for understanding.
I tried at one point to tell you not to put a net there.
Yeah.
Try not to use a net, but either you didn't hear me or I was just drowned out from the intensity of facts.
Yeah, facts and logic. Well, we got through it anyway. The power of rewind. And Garlo's just gonna be here just dispatching while this respawn. But yeah, in terms of my I think to this day, like my favorite comic, but my favorite show that's probably next to the original X-Men run, is the one that they had for the one that they got canceled halfway. That one that was on Nicktoons, Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yeah, that one was really good. Like it
have on it.
Yeah, and it took the concept of Wolverine being leader at face value of not people like Wolverine more than everybody else, so let's make him the star. I was
he knows he's not a fitting
yeah,
leader.
and multiple times in the show it shows that he's not a good leader. They don't want to make Cyclops the leader because he's still dealing with a lot of anger and aggression from the loss of Jean Grey from the events that happened in that. So it at least makes some sense why Cyclops didn't take the reins when they brought him back in.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, it has a problem of trying to make it seem as if Wolverine is always right anyway, despite the fact that he's typically wrong in that show. Like for instance, how he goes off at Cyclops for leaving the team to chase after his own agenda. In one of the other episodes, right?
Probably trying to remind him that that's his job.
Yeah, but they didn't really state that, nor did they make any sort of subtle nods that is typically the case. Right? It's just like Wolverine is giving a lesson or is giving a lecture about the stuff that he's always being lectured about, as if he's never done it.
Mm-hmm.
If I know Cyclops points out that Wolverine's done it before, but they didn't really touch on that enough to make it seem
probably what they would have done in the other half of the season.
Maybe, but
that was such a huge tease. I remember Dad and I we were waiting for those new episodes every week, and when we saw that, my dad was like, "Oh man, this is."
Yeah, I was so we're done with the whole Master Mold Sentinel plot from Days of Future Past. Now we're going into Apocalypse. Oh shit!
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it got canceled.
And then I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it now. I will say this now. Fucking Wolverine is a piece of shit.
He is typically, yeah.
I am surprised he's so popular as it is, and I'm just like,
because he's a piece of shit that he's so popular.
No, well, for me,
the kind of guy, as I said earlier, that he's fun to hang out with, but not fun to be around 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that like for me, my favorite character from X-Men has always been Gambit and Rogue.
Yes. Yes.
Those are to me my favorite fucking characters because everyone else is okay, but like Gambit and Rogue, they're dynamic. It's just
so good.
Marvelous.
It's so good.
Yep. Oh,
and
man.
Beast is such a good character too.
Yep.
You know, it's so perfect of a blend of taking the look of something, but subverting those expectations of the outer appearance with the true itself, right? Like you look at Beast and you're thinking, oh, he's some mindless brute, some hulking monster, right?
Actually,
no, we
like to consider them a very intelligent species.
Like 10 PhDs, you know, in like every single scientific field.
Yeah.
Who enjoys classical literature and music.
Yeah.
Like it's so great. Beast is one of my favorite characters for that alone, right? But yeah, Gambit was always my favorite growing up. I loved the jacket, the staff, the playing cards, the fact that he was in a romance with somebody who couldn't touch him. So like every time they wanted to get physical, like it literally hurt him to try and do.
That was close.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. And Rogue is awesome. Rogue is a type of character you want to look at if you want to talk about female empowerment, right? Like her whole thing is that she can't touch anybody. She is very lonely because she can't interact with people normally, right? But she's still strong-willed, headstrong, has a personality, has an actual personality. Yet has an actual flaw that's fundamental to how she, interacts with the world.
And not to mention her backstory.
Yeah, like her backstory is extremely simple. She was just a normal country girl. She's a Southern belle, right? Who just happened to awaken to her powers the moment she had her first kid, like right when she was about to have her first kiss. So the first person that she ever tried to, extend her emotions to, she put into a coma. It was so severe that his memories and mannerisms had latched onto her from that, and also the fact that she was traumatized that she almost killed the first boy she loved, right? Like.
Then she got into the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she joined the X-Men.
Well,
but
her connection with Mystique.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Yeah, she's the adopted daughter of Mystique. Yeah.
For some reason.
You know about the
No, not for some reason, but Mystique adopted her to make use of her powers. But also grew to actually love
care
her.
for her because she was a mutant and stuff.
Yeah, that and the whole you're a mutant who's been abandoned. Let me here, come with us. And then she also manipulated her to use her powers for personal gain for the mutant cause.
You're also a really great tool.
Yeah.
The Zabuza and Haku situation.
And that's how Rogue has the ability to fly and has super strength and durability.
That's right.
Because she put Miss Marvel in a coma before she became Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she held on to a superpowered person so long that the powers that she got from it became permanent.
Oh my god, I remember that because that was during the was it Avengers versus X-Men, and that was the whole Captain Marvel went up against Rogue because they were trying to kill Jean Grey because of the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
And that's when fucking Rogue took out Captain Marvel just by absorbing her powers and basically put her in a coma.
Yeah. And that got shown really. That had a really great moment in the '90s cartoon also, where they had like an entire episode showing Rogue's history with Mystique, right?
I don't remember that, but I definitely will.
It was in like season 3 or 4, I think.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I got that far yet.
I mean,
X-Men had like 5 or 6 seasons, I think.
Oh, I see.
Oh man, dude, like I always fucking that like to me it shows that mutants, it's like the Inhumans. All right, because I'm not gonna say the Inhumans are trash. I mean, like Inhumans are also one of the most are probably I want to say one of the most world's strongest teams right after X-Men.
Yeah.
Because X-Men is considered to be the world's strongest team. The only problem people consider the Avengers the strongest is because Avengers are more liked. But if we're going down
they're not a minority group that's hated by the rest of the world.
Exactly. And what I really love about it, what I really love the fact is that not even the Avengers are supposed to be as famous as the Fantastic Four.
Exactly. The Fantastic Four is supposed to be the first superhero team.
Yep.
And also one of the strongest.
But they were never that popular in the real world.
Unfortunately, which is a damn shame because the casting choice for the first for one of the live action movies was actually really great. It's like everybody looked pretty spot on.
I love how Captain America was the Human Torch.
Yeah, like it's funny to think about now, but like when you watch that movie, it's like, this is Johnny Blade. That's Johnny Storm.
Yeah,
he's an immature douche who doesn't think about his decisions. Yeah,
totally makes sense.
Like those movies were pretty spot on for the characters. It's just that it wasn't the most interesting story that those characters had, right?
Yeah,
exactly. It's like for me, my two most favorite villains Marvel's ever had have been Doctor Doom
and Magneto.
For me, has been Doctor Doom and Ultron. Magneto, the reason
Ultron, huh?
Yeah, because the reason I don't consider Magneto a villain is because he's an anti-hero.
He's like anti-hero, anti-villain. He flip-flops because he has a specific goal and agenda which you can actually calculate how he would act based on those goals.
He wasn't so arrogant. He wanted the same umbrella.
Yeah. The whole reason why people, what I will consider him a villain is because he basically killed off all his political rivals. He took over his country, became the ruler. But the reason why I enjoy him as a villain is the fact that it's because he prioritizes his people before his own diabolical world domination ambition.
I mean, but he almost always does it for good reason.
Yeah. Doctor Doom is great.
Yeah,
Doctor Doom is amazing. I'm sad that we haven't had a good Doctor Doom in live action yet.
Yeah, because that's the whole reason I enjoy him is that he is willing to stop his world domination plans if it affects his people in a negative way. He goes, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop now.
Yeah. Well,
also the fact that he has so much personality from how petty he is with his rivalry with Reed Richards.
Exactly.
By the way, guys, we're gonna be wrapping things up pretty soon for this game. Before we get into the next one.
He's afraid of squirrels.
I don't think anybody cared.
I mean, yeah. What? I'm just doing.
Hold up a sec.
Alright, let's see. Where's this? Oh, I'm just letting everyone know because that side quest took way too long. So I'm gonna just make that its own part here. So yeah, we can continue this conversation when we get to the last game for the stream for today. So just letting you know that. Yeah, we gotta do that one.
I will say though, I do enjoy. like for me, I enjoy Ultron because his entire motivation of him being how he is to prove to Hank Pym that he's a that Hank Pym is wrong. The entire motivation of Ultron is just basically a child rebelling against his father.
A child who is correct, but still a child.
Exactly. That's why I enjoy Ultron, because his entire character flaw is the fact that he's going, I am right. These people are garbage. Humanity's garbage.
And you, especially, are garbage.
Exactly. Which makes it even more hilarious.
I like it when in the first part he decides to use Hank Pym's girlfriend brain to make his own wife.
Yep.
He's basically obsessed with her.
Anywho, comics aside, thanks for that, Jose. That was a really good way to carry the conversation while I was consistently trying to get past a certain part in this game.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to step away. Mom was at the door.
That's all good.
What did I miss?
No, it's just how Ultron was great in both comics and cartoons.
The whole reason why Ultron is great is because he's just trying to prove, like the entire reason of the motivation of Ultron is that he's just trying to prove Hank Pym wrong.
Yeah. I like Ultron. I just don't know too much about Ultron other than like Hank Pym created him, and then which is kind of why I had a problem with Ultron being introduced in the MCU so early. But at the same time, it works. It made sense, and as it was, and then what else was there?
That first cartoon on Disney where at one point he just literally tried to steal off brain and put it into a robot for himself to love.
Yeah. My two favorite villains in Marvel as a whole is Doctor Doom and Magneto.
You see, and I love Magneto because his motivation is actually once you take out his extremists, he's basically Malcolm X.
Because he is. That's
which I enjoy.
That's the whole point. Xavier is Martin Luther King, and Magneto is Malcolm X. That's the whole basis of those two characters being created. Part of the whole allegory for part of the whole X-Men mutant allegory for racism.
And that's the main reason I fucking love Magneto.
Yeah.
Like people
Magneto's great.
Yeah. And that's what, like I said, like Magneto, Doctor Doom, Ultron, and if I want to throw in another villain there, I mean people are gonna hate this, but Eddie Brock.
Brock is good too, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, people just see him as Venom, but Venom himself just wants to prove that he can be a hero.
The Venom symbiote. Yeah, the symbiote is actually benevolent in most cases. It's just the fact that Spider-Man being the first person it latched onto on Earth, it absorbed a lot of his trauma and self-loathing. Right? It took all the negativity that was in Peter, and that shit, and then being abandoned by Peter left it bitter, right?
Well, guys, I would love to continue this conversation, but we are done for.
We could. You just want to make a good breaking point between
good breaking point
footage.
Yeah, so we continue this.
It doesn't have to stop the entire conversation on a live stream,
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is I want to end the part proper.
Okay, thanks for joining us, chat. Hope you enjoyed that lengthy, repetitive loss of a chapter because Mark sucks and doesn't know how to think things through. But he brute forced his way through it anyway, and he completed the challenge.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching, and have a good day. We will continue talking about random shit because breaking the thoughts like that, it really stops the conversation and typically ends the conversation right then and there usually, because then we lose where
You're
we're
welcome. Bye.
Anyway.